We know that the world is more than what is perceived by the 5 human senses.
And I think that's where a lot of the challenge and the growth comes.
Dare you try to be really pissed off and laugh out loud. It just doesn't work.
Rise and shine!
It's Entspresso time!
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I am not a morning person, I'm not. But when you start your day with a routine that inspires you, like watching one of these videos, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of Entspresso with Deepak Chopra.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Reality is one wholeness. It includes all subjects, all objects, and all modes of knowing. What we have access to is a human mode of knowing. You know, in my book, Metahuman, I talk about the butterfly, the painted lady, who smells the world through her antenna, okay, tastes the world through her feet, sees the world with 30,000 lenses that move like a kaleidoscope, okay, hears the world through her wings. What is reality to that little species? Some insects see the world 360 degrees, okay, because they have these what we call complex eyes with multiple lenses. You can only see within a certain range, but there are insects that can see 360 degrees. So what is reality? Reality, what we call reality, what today's science calls reality, comes under the heading of naive realism. Einstein was a naive realist. And I'm not saying this in a derogatory fashion. It's a word in the science of philosophy. Naive realism means that the physical world exists exactly as perceived by the 5 human senses. Now, obviously, that's not true. Other species experience the world through different modes of sensory perception. The second aspect of naive realism is that the physical world, as perceived by the 5 human senses, would exist even if no one was observing it. Well, how do you prove that? And firstly, it's naive because we know that the world is more than what is perceived by the 5 human senses. So this leads us to a solution actually of the hard problem of consciousness, which is get rid of the idea that the world is physical. What we call of the world as physical, even your physical body, is a perceptual activity. And that perceptual activity for you and me is a human perceptual activity through human consciousness, not through bat consciousness, not through mosquito consciousness, not through plant consciousness, which would fit in with panpsychism. But non-dualism says, go beyond that. There is only one consciousness that is differentiating, undifferentiated consciousness, differentiating into these different species of consciousness that form a matrix of conscious beings that are collectively projecting this universe.
So I'm going to be honest with you, the first time I watched this clip, I felt my mind drifting to other things. A lot of what he was saying, I had a hard time understanding. And I think that's what our brain just typically does. When you feel like you're in way over your head and you don't understand something, your mind drifts to something else. If you've ever read a book, Nina's back. We love you, Nina. If you've ever read a book and you've been on a page and you don't really understand the page, and so you're about to flip to the next page and realize you read the whole page, but you didn't actually read it. Like, what did I just do for the past minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes? So you have to reread the page. And I feel like with that video, I need to watch it 20 times, slow it down, go sentence by sentence to really understand the message there, because it's not from a place where I understand yet. And that's what I actually love. That's why I love this channel. That's why I love what I do, because I get introduced to topics of not just things that are default and easy and I hear the same message over and over again. It's like, okay, I got that, but new ideas that hurt my head, that forced me to think. And I think that's where a lot of the challenge and the growth comes. Where if you've been watching something over or you've been reading something over and you don't understand it, to fight through that, to go more slowly, to not get frustrated, to not feel overwhelmed, to say maybe there's something that I really, really, really need to learn here, and have more patience with yourself to try to figure it out. I think on the other side of that frustration is a lot of learning. The other thing you can do is ask for help. And so that will be my plea to you guys on this one. I probably didn't share that much insights as I normally do on these Entspresso videos, but I'd love to know your take on this video, your take on his message, your take on your understanding of it, and how you would explain it to a total newbie, and the impact and practicality that you think that the message has on someone's day-to-day life. I would love your feedback. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below.
Your mind begins to lay down patterns over time. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So if you, let's say you want to do public speaking, and you get nervous every time you're about to public speak, then you begin to develop this Pavlovian response of anxiety as you go to speak. But you could interrupt that pattern. You could find ways, whether it's taking a much more confident posture, which there's all kinds of amazing research on how just your posture, changing your posture, creates a different internal reality. Going back to you're creating the state that you're in. If you're sitting like this and you're allowing your face to take on this really droopy, sad posture, it's very different. What you feel is very different than if you take an open, confident posture. If you hold your face in a very optimistic, upbeat, I dare you, try to be really pissed off and laugh out loud. It just doesn't work. Understanding that all of that stuff is intentionality at play. It's you choosing what you think. It's you choosing what you believe. It's you choosing what you feel. And all of that stuff has a material impact on the world around you. Take meditation. I eschewed meditation for years. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. I tried it, didn't make any sense to me until someone explained what I was really doing was gaining control over my autonomic nervous system. Because right now, so much of your life happens in the subconscious. The vast majority of the data that your brain processes is done subconscious. In fact, the conscious mind is the last person to know. If you guys have seen David Eagleman and what he talks about, how there's all this neurological activity going on, things that are known, things that are discarded, things that are moved towards, and the last person to know about it is your conscious mind. Despite the fact that he's going to take credit for all of it, your conscious mind is actually the last to know. So being able to take control of the autonomic nervous system is so powerful. It's going to allow you to center yourself before giving a speech. It's going to allow you to calm yourself before taking a test. It's going to allow you to perform at a higher level. Take the Navy SEALs. The Navy SEALs teach breathing exercises. The Navy SEALs teach meditative practices, because when you get into a combat situation and things are flying and moving really fast and it is literally a life or death situation, you've got to learn to calm your autonomic nervous system. And if you can't do that, if you can't lower your rate of breathing, if you can't calm your heart rate, if you can't push the blood back into your prefrontal cortex so that you can make the right decisions and quickly, you're screwed. So learning that this is all intention, learning that your brain is housed in a shell and it never sees the light of day, it never actually encounters sound, it encounters electrical and chemical signals, and from that it paints the best version of reality that it can. But it isn't the total reality, and it isn't objective. Once you accept that, once you get that there's even a crack in that door of subjectivity and that you can control that subjectivity, then all of a sudden your beliefs become things to control and manipulate, to move and construct around something that serves you. List the beliefs that you have about yourself and put them in two different sides. On one side, I want you to list the things that empower you and move you forward. On the other side, I want you to list the things that demotivate or demean you and move you away from your goals. And then I want you to look at the balance. My guess is most of you have more beliefs about yourself that are detrimental, that make you less of who you are, than you have on the positive side of things that make you bigger, that make you more confident, that give you the courage and the audacity to move forward. Once you realize both of those are fake, both of those are merely a representation that your mind has chosen to give you, and they're not objectively true, then you can realize, hey, I can change these. I can choose to believe things that empower me. I can choose to ignore things that move me backwards or change them. But it's all a construct. Get control of your mind. It's so powerful. In fact, the most powerful form of mind control is control over one's own mind.
If you want more Deepak Chopra, check out the one-on-one interview I did recently on my main channel. The link is right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Every thought you have is a magical lie.
How do we live a life with zero physical or mental weakness?